Arab terrorists who opened fire on a bus full of IDF soldiers yesterday failed to escape the scene after their car caught on fire from a firebomb they were trying to throw at the bus. An IDF soldier was wounded in a stabbing attack near Hebron on Friday by a Palestinian Arab from Bethlehem. Former member of Knesset, Yehuda Glick, was detained on the Temple Mount yesterday after he played the sound of the shofar on his cell phone. And an anti-Israel YouTuber in the United States went viral after harassing Orthodox Jews about what is happening in, quote, Palestine. I'm Josiah, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, first off, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the Israel Guys. We're coming to you three times a week, and make sure and go to our channel and check out the video we put out yesterday. It's on the actual location. It's called Where is the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where we go and bust the myths of where the Temple Mount is actually located in Jerusalem. You don't want to miss it. This is the first episode of a 6-part series that we're going to be putting out every single Sunday special for the next 6 weeks. So make sure and go check that out. You don't want to miss that. Go ahead and subscribe while you're over there. Yesterday, terrorists opened fire on a bus that was traveling along a highway in the Jordan Valley. This is a bus full of IDF soldiers. These terrorists were in a car. They overtook the bus, it seems, on the highway, and then opened fire into the windshield of the bus. You can see in the picture that there's over a dozen bullet holes in the windshield of the bus. One of the soldiers was seriously injured from a gunshot wound. There were also 2 moderately injured. One of those was the bus driver, who had gunshot wounds in his upper body. And another 3 people were lightly injured by shrapnel, and they were actually treated at the scene. So these guys overtook the bus on the highway, opened fire, it seemed with automatic weapons on the bus. I don't know how many rounds they got in there, but thankfully right now it seems that there's one soldier in serious condition, but it could have harmed a lot more people, could have potentially killed more soldiers, and we need to continue to pray for the recovery of those who are injured in this attack. Reports said that the suspects overtook the bus before firing on it, and when the bus pulled over, the suspects attempted to throw a Molotov cocktail at the bus to set it on fire. The car, which was driven by the suspects, caught fire as it was attempted to flee. It seems that the Molotov cocktail thing didn't go the way they were planning, and they caught their own car on fire, and then the fire spread and the car eventually exploded. It's actually, you can see it in a video that the IDF found of the car. Made a left turn, there's fire coming out, and then the whole thing kind of explodes right afterwards. But not very long after the attack, the 2 Palestinians were found along with automatic rifles that they believed to have used in this attack. They were located very close to the scene, and it is reported that they were very seriously injured from the fire in the vehicle. They were currently transferred to the Shin Bet for interrogation on what actually went down here. So these guys, terrorists who carried out this attack, they didn't get away, thank God. It seems like they were caught, and the IDF is continuing to search the area and search these guys' relations and friends to see who else may have been involved in this attack. The official statement by the IDF said, quote, a shooting attack took place in the Jordan Valley area earlier today, this was yesterday, during which armed terrorists fired at a bus, injuring 6 soldiers and a civilian. IDF forces apprehended 2 individuals suspected of carrying out the attack. They are still searching for additional terrorists. That's the official statement made by the IDF yesterday. The Prime Minister of Israel, Yair Lapid, made a statement shortly after the attack. He said, quote, will continue and put our hands on anyone who tries to harm the citizens and soldiers of the state of Israel, unquote. The Noam Party chairman, MK Avi Maoz, he also responded to the attack, and I thought what he said was pretty good. He said, quote, time and time again, we witness that if we do not eliminate terrorism, it will strike us again and again. Those who contain stone attacks receive shooting attacks. Only the establishment of a Jewish nationalist government will eliminate the terrorism. thought that was a very good quote from him. We have to eliminate terrorism or else it's going to continue to strike and strike again. And unfortunately, we see seen a little bit of a rise that in the past several weeks. The opposition leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, also responded to the attack on Twitter. He said, I pray for the recovery of those who are injured in the attack in the Jordan Valley and strengthen the security forces operating in the field. Only a strong hand will defeat terrorism. And that's exactly right. Especially here in the Middle East, strength is very much respected in the Arab culture. When Israel shows great strength and a strong hand, then you see terrorism actually decreases. And a lot of times when you have a weak or slightly left government in power, things can heat back up and accelerate like we're seeing it is right now. Hopefully this is not going to continue. Please God, but we have seen several attacks in the last couple of days. On Friday, actually, an IDF soldier was injured in a stabbing attack near Hebron. The terrorist approached a military post where several soldiers were standing guarding the community of Kiryat Arba, Jewish community down there. A terrorist jumped out of a car and stabbed one of the soldiers before being shot dead by another IDF soldier standing nearby. Thank God this guy responded very, very quickly, because the terrorist actually jumped out of the vehicle and stabbed this guy like right in the face and the neck. The soldier later said that he said, quote, I didn't hesitate and I killed the terrorist. As a medic, I gave life-saving medical attention to my team sergeant. And we are very thankful that this soldier did not hesitate, because it seems that he saved the life of his fellow soldier here. Could have been much worse, and more soldiers could have. This soldier definitely probably would have died, and more soldiers also could have lost their lives in this attack. Thankful for this soldier's quick response to this attack. According to the Palestinian media, the terrorist was a 19-year-old from a refugee camp near Bethlehem. Also, the United Hatzalah, which is the volunteer ambulance service here in Israel, very quick to respond to attacks like this. One of their volunteers, Ben Sion Cousin, was the first respondent on the scene, and reported that the soldier had been stabbed in his upper body and injured. Seems like the soldier, thank God, is only in moderate condition. Seems not to have been too serious. The Harasses hospital put out a statement after he was taken there that he was fully conscious with several moderate stab wounds. So continue to pray for the recovery of this soldier that was stabbed on Friday, and continued safety for all these communities around in Judea and Samaria and all over Israel. It's not just happening inside of Judea and Samaria. Also, on Saturday, actually, there was another thwarted terror attack in Gush Etzion. A terrorist was apprehended by security forces near the southern gate of Kibbutz Migdal Oz. He was armed with a firebomb. So again, trying to carry out another attack against the Jewish community down south in the Gush Etzion area. The Gush Etzion Regional Council head, his name is Shlomo Ne'eman, responded to the attack and said, tonight a terror attack was thwarted as a young armed terrorist was spotted on the community's security cameras and was apprehended by the security guards. I want to thank the kibbutz security personnel for their alertness in preventing the attack. We have learned that this isn't the first time this individual was detained for a terror attempt. The fact that he isn't behind bars shows that there's a lack of deterrence, punishment, and justice. And we see that kind of being a common cry here in Israel right now, saying why we need to be more proactive on this. People that show any signs of violence or terrorism need to be brought to justice, or need to be locked up and prevented from actually carrying out terror attacks in Israel. But guys, the biggest thing you can do to support the nation of Israel right now, and actually we've seen this firsthand, is come to Israel actually and show your support to the nation of Israel. Show Israel that you are not afraid. Witnessed this firsthand many times going to some of these places when there was a rise in terror terrorist attacks, and the Jewish community was very, very encouraged by us just coming and showing up, even if we're just doing a tour there. They're like, wow, thank you so much for coming. It really strengthens us during these times that are a little bit more difficult than others. So guys, continue to pray for Israel, and if you can, come to Israel and show your support for the nation of Israel during these times. We're going to talk about just the daily, what it's like, the daily reality for a Jew going up to the Temple Mount any day, and what he can and can't do. But first, I wanted to let you know that our best selling product on our online store, It's called the Daily Bread Bible Journals, are on their way. They're in production right now and on their way to our warehouse and are now available for pre-order on our store. The Daily Bread Bible Journal is a plan that takes you through the entire Bible in 1 year, but let me tell you, it is much more than just a Bible reading plan. Every day you read one portion from the Torah, one portion from the prophets, one portion from the writings, and one portion from the New Testament. You kind of get this overall synopsis of all the different portions being read here in Israel. Also, you can journal your studies. There's a place to take notes and daily devotionals while following the biblical Hebrew calendar with all its feasts and special occasions. It also has a little thing on the historical, what happened historically, the historical events on that specific day. The Daily Bread Bible Journals comes in both men's and women's editions. The women's edition seems to be the most popular right now. And it's a great way to connect to Israel in your daily Bible devotions. The plan starts on October 18th, so don't wait to go ahead and pre-order yours now. The journals are guaranteed to ship on or before October 1st, so you don't worry, you'll get them in time for the plan to start. Just go to shop.theisraelguys.com or click the link in the description below. You could also click up here. Grab your Daily Bread Bible journal today and connect to Israel with your daily devotions. All right, a former Knesset member, Yehuda Glick, went up on the Temple Mount yesterday and was detained by the police and told to stop after he played the sound of a shofar on his cell phone. So Sunday morning, he went up. This is Rabbi Yehuda Glick, who was a former Knesset member. He went up to the Temple Mount, and typically during this time period, the month leading up to the festival of Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year here in Israel, the month leading up to it, a lot of Jews blow the shofar every single day. The shofar is the ram's horn. And it's a typical thing. They blow the shofar every single day in the month leading up to the New Year. So Rabbi Yehuda Glick goes up to the Temple Mount, and obviously you can't bring a shofar up there. It's illegal to pray. You can't do anything that reverences the site or any form of worship. So he opens his phone and presumably on YouTube or something finds the sound of a shofar, and he plays this. You can actually see a video that was posted on Twitter of Rabbi Yehuda Glick playing the shofar sound from his phone, and then immediately a police officer comes up to him, tells him to stop, cut it off, and then detains him after that. Take a look at this video right here. So as you can see, crazy reality. This is what happens when Jews go up in the Temple Mount every single day right now. This is the crazy reality that's happening right now. Nobody seems, or the world doesn't seem to be concerned about this, that the Temple Mount is the holiest site for Jews, holiest site in Judaism, and any Jewish person that goes up to the Temple Mount is not allowed to do anything that remotely connects to worship or prayer or even reverencing the site. Absolutely not. They're immediately stopped by the Israeli police, who are under pressure from Israel's government, who's under pressure from a lot of international nations around the world, and also from the Arab states, putting pressure on Israel to, quote, maintain the status quo and not allow Jews to pray, not allow them to do any form of worship. So you can just kind of see the crazy reality, like what other country is somebody going to be detained for going into a place of worship and playing a sound, it's not an offensive sound, on his phone. Absolutely crazy, but unfortunately, that's what's happening in Israel today and on the Temple Mount. I saw something very interesting. Last thing we have time for today is a pro-Palestinian YouTuber actually in the United States made a video, I think it was like a week and a half ago, right before, on Friday afternoon, right before the start of Shabbat. He was in New York, and he went around and was sort of harassing Orthodox Jews and asking them what they thought on the Israel-Palestine conflict. And it actually kind of went viral over that weekend. And he was specifically, a lot of Orthodox Jews actually got offended from this because he was specifically asking Orthodox Jews to, quote, justify Israel's actions toward Palestine. And a lot of Orthodox Jews are saying, that live in the United States, are saying, hey, we live in the United States. Just because we're Jews doesn't mean that we're responsible for Israel's actions. So this is playing into this. And unfortunately, a lot of Orthodox Jews are very misinformed. A lot of Jews in the United States are misinformed on what's happening here in Israel as well. But the crazy thing is that the basis of this guy's questions, he's a young guy, he's a self-proclaimed comedian on YouTube and makes all these crazy, what he thinks are funny videos. And he's been known to harass Jews in the past in different other videos. In March of last year, he went into a kosher shop in Michigan and asked Jews to read words on a phone, and he had the Palestinian flag and the words that said "Free Palestine." So obviously just trying to get reactions from Jewish people in the United States. So very obnoxious towards Jews in general. But everything he was asking these guys is based on lies. He said, first of all, Palestine. There's no such thing as Palestine. He said, yeah, what do you think about Israel taking Palestinians' homes? That's not happening. That's a lie. And then he said, is it okay for Israel to kill Palestinian men, women, and kids? That's also a lie. So just kind of playing into this whole false narrative about Israel, the media bias, all these different things. And unfortunately, a lot of the Orthodox Jews don't really know. So a lot of these guys didn't even want to talk to him. Some of them were rather offended by him asking these questions. And but there is one exchange that I thought was pretty good. Maybe we'll play the video right here.
Do you justify Israel's actions towards Palestine?
What actions are you talking about?
You know, them taking people's homes and
Are they doing that?
you know, like Israelis, they're taking the Palestinian homes.
I have no idea. Are they doing that?
Yeah, they're doing that for sure.
That's really mean.
Huh?
You sure they're doing
No, I swear they're doing that.
No, I'm not. I don't live
Okay,
in America.
what about the war that's going on between Israel and Palestine?
There's a war now?
Yeah, the conflict. The conflict.
What conflict?
So you don't watch the news?
I don't watch the news now.
So what about the kids and men and women being killed? What do you think about that?
Which kids?
Palestinian kids, man. Come on, man.
I thought there's a war in Ukraine. There's another war also going on?
No,
Crazy, man. These wars gotta stop. That's crazy.
no, there's a war. Where are you going? It's been happening for years, man.
So this guy is great. His reaction to the Arab, his name is Dula Mula, I believe, YouTuber, but his reaction is great. He was not playing into his game. He's definitely like totally disarmed him with being like, wait, what are you talking about? There's a war in Israel, really? And then he was like, I thought there was a war in Ukraine. And he was like, these wars got to stop, man. So he obviously like threw the guy kind of off his rocker. And his response was great because there's not a war happening. And then the Arab guy kind of changed his tune. It's like, oh, well, what do you think about the conflict? Maybe not the war, that kind of thing. So unfortunately, this is another case of anti-Semitism happening in the United States towards Orthodox Jews. And obviously, the whole point of the video was to make Jews look bad and to cast blame on Israel for things that are happening here as well. And unfortunately, a lot of as I said before, a lot of the Orthodox community in Israel aren't very well informed, or they've been lied to by the media about what's actually happening here. So they don't even know, and some actually think that this guy was right in saying that Israel is wrong in these instances. But that's the case in the United States. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know what a good response to these kind of guys that come around and ask these type of questions that are filled with lies. Put your responses down in the comments. We love interacting with you there. But in the meantime, tune out the fake news and tune in to what is actually happening in the land of Israel. Remember, we'll be back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.